Visit your local Kia dealer or KiaDealers.com today.
Tonight, breaking news. Authorities moments ago on the deadly explosion at 30,000 feet. What they have now revealed about that jet. The left engine exploding on that Southwest 737, the mother of 2 killed, sucked out the window, passengers pulling her back in. And tonight, the Southwest pilot, her calm, quick action. You will hear her talking to the tower as they were trying to land. And tonight we learned that she was one of the Navy's first female fighter pilots. Also tonight, the secret meeting. President Trump confirming that CIA Director Mike Pompeo has already traveled to North Korea and has met with Kim Jong-un. The deadly fires tonight across several states, several homes, structures burned to the ground. The pictures coming in, our correspondent on the scene. In Hawaii tonight, torrential flooding, hundreds of rescues playing out, and this evening word that surfing legend Laird Hamilton helped rescue more than a dozen young people who've been stranded. David Copperfield in court, the spectator who suffered a brain injury, and now Copperfield's team forced to reveal the magic trick. And we celebrate tonight the life of Barbara Bush. This evening, her family revealing she was holding hands with her husband of 73 years, former President George H.W. Bush, until the very end.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a Wednesday night. And we begin tonight with authorities before the cameras just a short time ago answering questions about that deadly explosion in midair, that Southwest 737, and what they've now discovered in that cracked engine. The emergency landing after the left engine exploded just after takeoff, a window breaking, a mother of 2 sucked through the window, passengers pulling her back in, but she did not survive. Tonight, NTSB investigators are looking closely at the engine, debris found spread across some 60 miles. And this evening, moments ago, our correspondent asking, how concerned are you about the 737 fleet? There are so many of them in the air. ABC's David Curley leading us off.
Investigators tonight scouring that mangled engine, looking for every piece that landed on the ground 60 miles from the Philadelphia airport, hoping to learn if there is a problem with the 737 fleet. This was the second engine failure like this in 2 years. A source telling ABC News they are similar engines, seems to be similar failures, metal fatigue, a fan blade breaking at about the same spot. New details tonight about those horrifying moments at 30,000 feet. The first radio call.
Southwest 1380 has an engine fire descending.
Southwest 1380, you're descending right now?
Yes, sir, we're single engine descending.
The bang of the engine ripping apart, that window blown out, depressurization. A passenger sucked partway out of the jetliner. Other passengers jumping into action, including Tim McGinty and a firefighter.
The guy helped, and we got her pulled in, and they tried to resuscitate her.
McGinty stood in front of the window to protect others. Jennifer Reardon lost her life, a mother of 2, a marketing executive, remembered tonight by her loved ones as the bedrock of our family. More praise for the pilots, including Captain Tammy Jo Schultz, who was one of the first female Navy fighter pilots and whose calm demeanor came through on the radio before the emergency landing.
Is your airplane physically on fire?
No, it's not on fire, but part of it's missing. They said there was a hole and someone went out.
This Boeing 737 was delivered 18 years ago, but that engine was rebuilt in 2012 and Southwest says was not in need of an overhaul. But that apparent uncontained failure in which extremely sharp shrapnel spews forward rather than back through the engine is very similar to this 2016 Southwest incident. 2 similar incidents. Are you concerned about the 737 fleet tonight?
We are very concerned about this particular event. Engine failures like this should not occur, obviously. If we feel that this is a deeper issue, we have the capability to issue urgent safety recommendations.
David Curley with us live tonight from Philadelphia Airport. And David, you were just at that NTSB briefing. We saw you asking the questions, and you're learning just what those pilots had to do to get the plane down safely.
Immediately after that engine ripped apart, David, the plane lurched over to 40 degrees, a bank of 40 degrees. A normal bank is about 25 degrees. And it was coming in fast, 190 miles an hour. Took 22 minutes to get here, but they touched the ground at 190. And David, meanwhile, the FAA has been working on a new rule that will require more inspections of heavily used, older engines. That rule has not been finalized, David.
Just a terrifying description, though, those final moments. David, thank you. And as you heard David report there, one of those pilots, Tammy Jo Schultz, brought the plane down safely. She was a Navy fighter pilot before. And so many were moved by these images. The pilot immediately going back into the cabin when they landed, hugging the passengers. Martha Raddatz tonight on the pilot and how passengers are now describing her.
As one of the first women to fly Navy fighter jets, Tammy Jo Schultz had exactly the kind of training for just this kind of emergency. Unflappable and deliberate, guiding her crippled jet in for a landing.
Yes, sir, we're single engine descending, have a fire.
Once safely on the ground, she's seen here, hugging passengers after the flight.
She's phenomenal. She's amazing.
The training Schultz got back in the Navy was not always easy. Schultz trained in the F-18 at a time when female pilots were not allowed to fly with combat units, and some male aviators were far from welcoming. Just after she left the Navy and pursued a career flying commercial airliners, combat positions were opened up to women, who Schultz praised for their tenacity and professionalism.
And Martha Raddatz with us from Washington tonight. Martha, those images of that former fighter pilot going back into the cabin to speak with the passengers, to hug some of them. I know you have mutual friends who know the pilot. It really just speaks volumes about her.
It does, and they were in touch with her just after this happened. They said she was fine. I said, what did she say about the landing? And they said, nothing. Her only concern was for the passengers and especially for the woman who was killed and that woman's family. That does say it all, David.
It sure does, Martha. Thank you. Next tonight here to President Trump and that face-to-face meeting planned with Kim Jong-un. Tonight, what we have learned that before the president sits down with the North Korean dictator, the CIA director already has. Tonight, what we've learned about that meeting kept secret until now. And here's ABC's chief White House correspondent Jonathan Karl on what President Trump just said about this moments ago.
He just completed one of the most high-stakes diplomatic missions in a generation. But today, CIA Director Mike Pompeo was on Capitol Hill fighting to be confirmed Secretary of State.
Enjoying my time here, trying to earn every vote I can.
Down in Mar-a-Lago, where he spent the day meeting and golfing with Japan's Prime Minister, the president offered a review of Pompeo's secret trip to North Korea.
He just left North Korea, had a great meeting with Kim Jong-un, and got along with him really well, really great. And he's that kind of a guy. He's very smart, but he gets along with people.
Pompeo made the trip in total secrecy over Easter weekend, sitting down with Kim Jong-un to lay the groundwork for a summit with President Trump. Days after his trip, he had his confirmation hearing for Secretary of State. Pompeo hinted at, but did not reveal his secret mission.
American people, and you should know there's work being done in preparation for that.
The president hopes he can convince the North Korean dictator to give up his nuclear program.
I will be meeting with Kim Jong-un in the coming weeks to discuss the denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. Hopefully that meeting will be a great success.
So let's get to John Karl with us live tonight from West Palm Beach. And John, we just heard the president there say moments ago he now hopes to sit down with Kim Jong-un, and soon.
In the coming weeks, David, but one of the biggest questions here is where will this meeting happen? The president has said that 5 locations are under consideration. One of them is not the United States. I'm also told that North Korea has been ruled out. China has been ruled out. The bottom line, finding a secure location that is acceptable to both sides, David, is no easy task.
John Karl with us again tonight. John, thanks as always. And next here, the deadly wildfires raging tonight from Arizona to Oklahoma, fueled by powerful winds and dry conditions, and apparently the cedar trees, the sap, helping to fuel these flames. ABC's Kana Whitworth from Oklahoma tonight.
From the air and on the ground, firefighters continuing their relentless fight across the scorched plains of Oklahoma, battling dangerous wildfires and wind. The charred remains revealing the devastation. More than 50 structures lost and at least 2 dead since the fire started last week. James and Lisa Newell feel lucky their home is still standing.
Everything was on fire all around you.
Everything was on fire. Everything was a glow ember, and our place is still standing.
The Ray Fire, the biggest so far, burning more than 283,000 acres.
One of the big problems are these cedar trees. You see how quickly that has burned here right behind me. Firefighters say they burn extremely violently.
Wind gusts of 30 miles an hour helping spread those burning embers.
David, firefighters are calling this fire epic as they deal with historically bad conditions, these high winds and extreme drought. People I spoke with said they're just holding on until this weekend when the rains come. David?
Kana, our thanks to you. Meantime, Hawaii is bracing for more flash floods tonight after torrential rains and rescues already in Kauai. And word tonight that famous surfer Laird Hamilton has rescued many. Here's ABC's Whit Johnson.
Tonight, bracing for round 2. More torrential rain set to batter Hawaii. The fear of roads once again transforming into rushing rivers.
We heard there's another storm coming and we don't want to take any chances.
In Kauai this week, more than 2 feet of rain in just 24 hours. Cars flipped over, submerged in mud. Roads washed away. Power lines down. Devastating loss. Even Laird Hamilton, big wave surfing legend, joining the rescue, using his own boat to save a young family and local campers.
It's hard to conceive that that much water could come from the sky.
The Coast Guard, with rafts and helicopters, evacuating more than 340 people from the hardest hit areas.
David, the heavy rain is expected to move in tonight and last until Friday. Flash flood watches have been issued throughout the islands. David?
Whit Johnson, with thanks. An unfortunate headline from Puerto Rico tonight. All of the island losing power again today as a new blackout strikes the island. The power company says an excavator hit a main power line and it could take 36 hours to repair. And this comes 7 months, as you know, after Puerto Rico was hammered by a Category 4 hurricane. Its electric grid still very fragile. Next tonight here to controversy surrounding President Trump and his ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley. She declared on Sunday that new sanctions were coming on Russia after the chemical attack in Syria. Then on Monday, the White House said not so fast. Then in just the last 24 hours, the president's new economic advisor, Larry Kudlow, saying that as far as Haley was concerned, there must have been some momentary confusion, that she got ahead of the curve. Tonight, Nikki Haley saying, "I don't get confused." Here's ABC's Mary Bruce.
Minutes before Nikki Haley walked into the chamber at the United Nations today, a reporter shouted out this question.
Ambassador Haley, how's your relationship with President Trump?
But the president was reportedly furious when he saw Haley on television Sunday announcing new U.S. sanctions against Russia.
So you will see that Russian sanctions will be coming down. Secretary Mnuchin will be announcing those on Monday if he hasn't already.
That may have been the plan, but the president was not on board. The White House then scrambling, saying sanctions are only being considered. Trump's new economic advisor, Larry Kudlow, blamed Haley for the contradiction.
She got ahead of the curve. She's done a great job. She's a very effective ambassador. There might have been some momentary confusion about that.
Haley shot right back. Confusion? No way.
I was able to get in touch with Nikki Haley. And
Haley telling Fox News, with all due respect, I don't get confused.
All right, Mary Bruce live in Washington again tonight for us. Mary, Nikki Haley appearing to stand her ground, and now Larry Kudlow is apologizing.
David Kudlow was quick to backtrack here, telling the New York Times Haley was certainly not confused. I was wrong to say that. He says the policy was changed and she wasn't told about all of this. David Kudlow tells us he has apologized and that this whole thing was a, quote, process mistake. David?
Mary, thank you. Tonight we have new reporting here on who plans to attend the funeral for former First Lady Barbara Bush this weekend, known to her family as the beloved enforcer. Her straight-talking, down-to-earth style endeared her to all. There is word coming in tonight from former presidents and former first ladies, all revealing their affection for Barbara Bush. She sure made them laugh. ABC's Dan Harris is in Houston again tonight.
American flags flying at half-staff today on orders from President Trump in honor of former First Lady Barbara Bush. Today, we heard from her son, Jeb Bush.
I'm so blessed to be her son. She taught us to serve others. She taught us to be civil. She taught us to love your family with your heart and soul.
We also heard from his brother, George W., the former president, telling the Fox Business Channel that his mother's humor was on display during their last visit.
She and I were needling each other, and the doctor came in, and she turned to the doctor and said, "You want to know why George W. is the way he is?" And the doctor looked somewhat surprised. She said, "Because I drank and smoked when I was pregnant with him."
And he spoke of his mother's spiritual side.
She had great faith. She truly believes that there's an afterlife, that she'll be wonderfully received in the arms of a loving God, and therefore did not fear death. And as a result of her soul being comforted on the deathbed, my soul is comforted.
Tonight, President Trump remembering Mrs. Bush as an advocate